All right, Module 3 is solving quadratic functions. Module 2, we were working with graphing quadratic functions and discovering the pieces of, or key features of quadratic functions. But in Module 3, the end goal will be to solve different quadratic functions that we're given. Now, to begin, before we can actually solve, we have to learn the skill of factoring. So this is going to be an introduction to factoring / solving quadratics. But factoring leads into solving, and factoring is a skill that is very necessary to master moving forward in Algebra 2. To begin this video, let's look at the quadratic function right here, x squared plus 2x minus 3. To review a little bit about the graph itself, we know that it's positive, so eventually we know that it will have a minimum because it opens up. And I'm going to fill that in the notes. But the first thing, quadratic functions are known for their U-shape known as a parabola. Hopefully that is review. We're just going to review some key points about quadratic functions. Quadratic functions will have two x-intercepts. Hopefully by now, from Module 2, you know that it will be 2 because the highest power in any quadratic function is the power of 2. The power of 2 tells me that there will be two solutions that I can put in for these x's. And if I put them in for those x's, technically this is y equals. If I put those solutions into those x's, it will spit out 0 for my y value 2 times. So any quadratic will have two solutions. And when we're factoring, anytime a quadratic can be factored, we know that it can have two real solutions. Real solutions mean that they cross the x-axis. So in this case, x equals -3 and x equals -1. These are real solutions. So please make note of that. And why are they real solutions? Because they actually hit the x-axis. They go through the x-axis. We will be solving quadratics later in this module that are imaginary solutions, but we'll talk about that later. Let's continue on. So I just mentioned this, but depending on the equation, there will be either a maximum or a minimum value. Remember, if it's positive, it has a smiley face, so it opens up, meaning that it'll have a minimum, and this one is positive, so this graph opens up, we just saw that. And this max or min is known as the vertex. Very important to remember the vertex. And then finally, factoring a quadratic into two binomials will reveal the solutions. Factors or solution. I'm going to put factors first. It will reveal the factors, not with a T. And then these lead into finding the solutions. So that's why factoring is so important. These can also be called, so if factors can lead into the solutions, they can be called the solutions, the roots, the zeros, or if they cross the x-axis, the x-intercepts. So please make note of all 4 of those names. So the end goal when you're factoring anything, so if I was going to factor this quadratic that was given to me up here, I would know that's a trinomial, so I would have to use a specific strategy called MacAv. Factoring that would lead me to two factors, binomials. In this case, the end product would look something like x plus 3 times x minus 1, if I factored that correctly, which that is the correct factored form. So this is factored form, this is standard form. And from factored form, I can set both of these factors, 1 and 2, equal to 0 and solve to find the solutions. That's going to be the process that you enter into in the next videos, but that is the introduction. Factoring is going to help us find the solutions of a quadratic. The solutions exist for when it can be factored. They're going to be real solutions. They exist on the x-axis. So this has two real solutions, one at x equals -3 and x equals 1. That's the end product of this part 1. But for factoring's sake, this will be the end product that I want to see in the next couple videos as you practice this skill. The step after that is just setting both equal to 0 and solving.